Roll call, please. I can't hear.
You're muted.
We can't hear you, Jesus.
Okay, let's start over.
You okay?
Francina Martinez,
Here.
Dinah Minus,
Here.
Alan Franken had an excuse. He sent an email,
Is excused.
so
Mike
Michael
Montoya,
Montoya.
present. Present.
okay.
Jesus Baqueros, present.
Jesus Baquera,
And Eleanor Duran is present. Okay.
okay.
So we do have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance, if everybody would stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The flags are behind me, okay? But you guys can't see them because my camera is not on board with me. Okay. Approval of the agenda. Did everybody get a copy of their agenda mailed to them?
Yes.
Okay. Did everybody have time to review it?
Yes.
Okay. Now I stand for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
I second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, none. Motion passes. Approval of the minutes of February the 14th.
Make a motion to approve?
Got a first. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, so moved. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. Next item on the agenda, do we have any public input, Jesus?
No, sir, none came in.
Okay. Next item is discussion item A, Resolution 2113. You have the floor, Mr. Vaquera.
That's resolution 22-13 is certification of the 2021 fixed assets and inventories that need council's signature on the certification page. So you should have gotten a PDF of the whole thing, and the first couple of sheets are certification pages with all the counselors' names on it. And then it goes through and it lists all the assets by fund.
And those were sent to you separately. How long is that document, Jesus?
159 pages.
Okay.
It's about an inch and a half, almost 2 inches. So.
Did
We
everybody
did
have a chance to
one.
review that?
I went, I scrolled through it.
Well, that's all your tax dollars at work.
Yep. It's a lot of it.
Is there any questions on that?
The written ones were interesting on the paper that were written.
The what?
The written ones on
Oh, yeah,
regular paper.
That's going to be addressed by Councilman Montoya
Yeah,
at the city council meeting. I guess we don't have a computer up at the senior citizens.
No, and then the inventory is, well, they jotted down on a notebook paper, and that's what they turn in.
Yeah, well, that's not going to be acceptable down the road, just to let you know. If we have a computer, somebody's got to use it.
What-
Because this kind of listings also, if they have to be updated down the road, or if anybody has any questions or needs to change or so forth, I mean, you got to have the accessibility to do that. I don't even think you find the pencils with erasers anymore.
Is this
I've got
just
one.
for review? It's not to be disposed of? It's just a review for the council to review, Mr. Montoya?
Yeah, this one is for us to adopt and to accept. This
To
is
accept.
saying that this is our fixed assets that we have up to date, and they're for approval.
Wow, that's a lot.
Well, yeah, it's the whole
It's a-
shebang.
It's a beast.
That's every nut and bolt.
Who
how come
compiled,
some,
who
go ahead,
compiled the
Dana.
list?
Every department head,
And that's what they turned in.
that's what they turned in. And
how
then
come,
Mr. Vaqueras will probably go through this list when we have another auction and question this and the other. I know that my concerns are that we shouldn't have no 50-year-old vehicles. I saw a van there that was solid waste, I think, for 1982 van. I mean, that's already 50 years old, and I don't think it's either part or we're putting a lot of money towards it, one or the other. But anything, I'm going to recommend to city council that, and city manager and the finance director, that anything that's within 22 years old back, that we delete from our inventory and start getting newer vehicles.
Mr. Baqueta, how accurate do you think your list is?
Current stuff, very. I'm the one that's in charge of the fixed assets, and I know that when we pay them, we get a fixed asset addition slip, and accounts payable gives them to me, and I verify that I put them in there in the fixed assets. But stuff that was there prior to my
Right,
tenure,
correct?
no idea.
That's why I asked, because, you're just taking the word from, it could be a list that was given just from a director that was there that just added on and added on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, but
Commend you for putting the list together, because the type of work that we do, it's you stop and you say how confident are you that it is correct,
well, by law, they have to do this inventory. I think it's every year.
yes,
So they got to have accountability, and when they use stuff, they should be deleting it. Or if they're receiving stuff, they should be adding it to this list. So,
and it's almost as if you have to hire a full-time person, right, Mr. Baqueta, just to do all that?
Yes, sir. We do send out our 2 accountants to go and verify the count at both the enterprise and the rec center for their inventories. Make sure they're accurate at 6:30.
All right.
So what needs to happen now is that we have to make a recommendation to approve resolution 2213 to mayor and council.
In speaking with Mr. Paqueta, he feels confident in turning this and then turning in this report to the council. I make a motion to approve.
You got a first. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor? Since it's a resolution, well, I'll do a roll call on this. Dana Maynes,
Yes.
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
seeing none, motion passes. Okay. Moving on to item number 2, letter B, I would say resolution 22-14. Mr. Vaqueras,
Resolution 22-14. It includes $16,403 for Fund 266, which is the Clean and Beautiful grant. New Mexico Traffic Safety Fund 253 is going to increase the budget by $21,381. Fund 217, our special legislators appropriation is going to increase by $38,000, and that is for Reston Park. The rec center, I shorted them $3,000 on their last resolution, so I'm including it in this one. And then the senior center got $319,412 more ARPA funds for their budget.
So the cleaning and beautiful was 16,000
Yes,
and safety was 21,000.
yes.
Okay.
The Clean and Beautiful grant is paired up with KAB grant. They both try to keep the Riverwalk up and clean and beautiful. So we pair up both of those grants and use them together, and it usually adds up to about 50,000.
So when you're saying on the resolution 22-06, increase revenue and expenses to general fund in the amount of 45,000, where is that revenue coming from?
Where are you looking for 45,000?
I'm sorry, that was last month's board minutes. Never mind. That was
Oh, that was the salary for the new deputy city manager. And that's coming from GRTs. All of these are grants that crossed my desk here in the last week or so.
like the 38,000 for the Crestone Circle.
Yes.
Where's that revenue coming from?
That's special legislative appropriations.
Okay.
DFA gave it to us.
So you're barely doing the bar for that now.
Yes, this is us requesting a bar to put
Okay.
it on our budget.
And until when do you have to expend that, or do you have a deadline on that?
I think this is a 2-year deal.
Okay.
So we have to have.
Jesus, on that Clean and Beautiful Fund, 16,400, was
Yeah.
that requested, that grant was through staff or through the Watershed Alliance or Gallinas Watershed Alliance? Do you know?
I think it's from the Gallinas Watershed Allowance, but because it gets paired up with KAB. Maria has a person on her staff that runs both of these grants.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions?
Just an FYI, the senior center, that 319,000, they got 4 years to spend that money. So
And that was Fund 282.
yes.
That's nice.
And this is another resolution, and I'd like to call for a roll call. Or actually, a motion. I'm sorry, need to get a motion and a second first. Sorry.
A motion to pass resolution, what was it? 2214?
Yes, thank you.
I'll
Yes.
second it.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
Dinah Mines,
Yeah,
Motion passes. Letter C, February finance report. Mr. Vaqueras.
February finance report. We should be at 67% for the fiscal year. We've got 73% in revenues in the general fund, 47% expenditures in the general fund, a surplus of 1.148917. The enterprise has 63% in revenues, 52% in expenditures, a surplus of 1,161,588. The rec center has revenues at 39%, expenditures at 36%, a surplus of 103,345. Lodgers tax has 78% revenues, 53% expenditures, a surplus of 95,652.
Any questions?
I'm good.
No questions.
I make a motion to approve the expenditure, the budget balance reports.
I second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, seeing none. February report has been approved. Mr. Vaqueras, do you see anything that out of the ordinary that we might be missing on this report? And where are we on, as far as, the surpluses, they all look good on paper. But are we in tune or in schedule with the year-round fiscal budget? Are we going to be okay by July?
Yes, we keep keeping our eye on our revenues coming in, and our revenues look promising to give us more than what we budgeted for. So we should do good by year end.
Have you compared to last year?
Yeah.
What's the difference? What's your percentage there?
I think it's about 4%. We're gonna get more this year.
Higher?
Yeah.
Okay, next item is letter D, February AP check listing. Mr. Vaquera.
Hold on, I don't have that one printed out. I wasn't here last month, so I'm not sure how they presented it to you guys.
Oh,
So,
Eleanor's on there. She can explain it.
It's on the attachments. It's called AP check listing. There's two different types. One's a bank transaction. If you'll open up that.
okay,
And then the other one was the more descriptive one. I keep forgetting what that one is called.
It's just AP checks.
so did you just presented this and then ask for questions, or?
Yeah, we just-
Yes, it was just presented and whoever had questions, they asked questions and we answered.
Okay,
Did you find the attachments? One is called February AP check report. The other one is called February bank transaction report. Did you get those?
I've got the bank transaction, and then I got AP check.
That's it.
Okay. So any questions?
On the bank, what is this one called? On the bank codes, do you have 12 bank accounts? Is-
That sounds a bit much, but
I thought so, but I was just trying to follow this report. And
Yeah,
speaking like with Eleanor a little bit last month, where it just says, on the left-hand corner up on top, it says bank code 330-CFB Recreation Center.
We actually have 16 bank accounts.
she
And
would
those-
know.
And those are reconciled on a monthly basis?
Yes, ma'am.
But just one person that does them? That's a lot.
We have a senior accountant. Well, they're both seniors, but Darlene has been here about 10 years, I would think, and it's like she gets on them the day they get here from the bank and gets them done probably in about 2 months. And Eleanor's been training with her for the last, 6 months, I would think. So,
It's
Not 2 months, it's 2 weeks. That's the longest time.
right. I think we take 3 days to do ours, but we only have 3 bank accounts and our budget is just as big as yours. But how is it that you don't get the bank book confused? You have 12, files to put all these bank, just the book that you make all your deposits that you get through the bank. It's
It's a
not-
lot. The biggest ones to reconcile, and it does take longer, are the general fund, because that is our biggest fund.
Right.
And the enterprise.
And the enterprise. I
Those
spent
are
some,
the
Good, you.
other ones are
I
smaller
mean,
right,
in
I saw
size,
that.
so that takes us maybe about a day to reconcile the rest. The biggest ones is the general fund. That one takes maybe 3-4 days, and
Mhm.
enterprise will take you at least a week to reconcile, just with so much activity.
That's quite a bit, huh?
Mm.
Your funding for all the ARP, COVID, is all those revenues being deposited in the general fund or the enterprise?
in the general fund,
The general fund?
yes.
I spent some time just trying to study it, over the weekend, but, like, let's say, and it seems like if they're like in order, you know what I'm saying? They come out, some of them are, on the first page,
And it
the
just,
water construction project, and that has a bank code of 643. Then the second page has the fund, I guess a code. So is that a fund code? Would you call that a fund code, Eleanor?
Which report are you looking at? And I'll open it up.
Well, on the front page it says check report.
The AP report?
we're almost done.
Check
We're
report.
almost done.
And which number are you looking at?
What's that?
Which number are you looking at?
The
What page?
second page up on top.
Okay, second page.
Yeah, I guess it is AP report. I'm sorry. So it
I'm
does
sorry?
say bank code 643.
Oh yes, that is our bank code. So those are the,
That's a fund code,
Is that the
Yes.
fund code? Is that
yes.
what you would call it the fund code?
and that'll be your enterprise.
And that's enterprise?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll coincide to the finance report, to the
Okay.
numbers listed on the side.
And then the water project, that's page 3. of
That
60?
should be 646, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, that's enterprise as well.
Okay, let's say lodger's tax. Where would I find lodger's tax?
Lodger's tax is your 202. So if you have anything that's being paid out of that, that should have a bank code that says 202 next to it where it says bank code. I don't know. It depends on if we pay anything for the month out of the pay.
Let me write that down. Bank code 202?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, Francina?
No,
We're done?
No?
not really looking for the chart of accounts, but
Oh, we're looking for what?
I pretty much, if I kind of see something that's weird, I'll ask, but I haven't seen anything that's any different than what you would pay monthly if I saw something that was.
And I'm just
a little
looking
bit
like to see
ordinary.
out of what fund you pay what. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was studying, just to see what fund pays what.
Yeah.
Other
Other than the
Your what?
auditors did your financials for you?
Yes,
Okay, I noticed that
what was your question, Francina?
the auditors did their financials for you.
Oh. On your WEX, on your cards, your fuel cards. That was page 50 out of 60.
page 50.
Mm-hmm. What type of internal controls do you have on the fuel cards? Does every vehicle have a fuel card, or do you know how many, or is it every department that has a different? Because I thought I saw it on more than that one page. I saw
It's every vehicle,
What's that?
every piece of equipment has a fuel card.
Uh-huh. So is it just one person that's in charge of all the fuel cards?
Yes, our CPO is in charge of issuing cards, and she does it based on the license plate of the vehicle, if it has a license plate, if it's a heavy equipment, uses diesel, it doesn't have a license plate, so she doesn't tie it to a license plate, but she will issue one for that piece of equipment.
So
And then-
does she reconcile the WEX fuel card then on a monthly basis?
On a
before she
monthly
gets it to your
basis, she
accounts
gets a
payable
bill
to-
from WEX and
pay?
she sends it out to the departments and verifies that the department's directors sign off on their portion of the WEX bill.
Let's see, I think I have one more. I thought I saw one in here for Ashley Arianes.
Yeah, there's one there for $500 and some dollars.
Did you see that one too, Mr. Montoya?
Yeah, it was, I don't have the list in front of me, but yeah, I saw it. It was
I
for
kind of glanced at it too.
close to $500 or something like that. That was for, I believe, picture taking for Marin Council for ads on the newspaper and for the website and so forth.
Oh, okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
I think that's all I have for now. Like I said, I was just trying to study the fund codes as to like to match it up with the
Departments?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had quite a few questions on that report, but it's hard to see it through my phone. But I will go through a hard copy and ask my questions because there were some big numbers there in some of those contracts that, yes.
Yes.
Because there's
And
one
they
in here
are-
for I believe it was what, for like 500, is it 500,000,
Yes,
right?
yeah, that might be
So
for,
green equipment.
yeah, and all those went through Marin Council and they were approved.
Uh-huh.
And those could be for water projects or they could be for road projects.
They
Okay.
got a lift station. I think our lift station project was a little over $1 million.
Yeah,
And that was for, I think we got 5 lift stations that go from town all the way to the septic.
How about your architectural services? I thought I had seen some last month. Do you know how many architects you all have hired for the city and they're on the, you're actually paying them, you know, they're on contract right now? Does anybody know? How many?
Maria would be your best guess, but I'm thinking I've seen 3 contracts cross my desk
For different
for-
architects.
for different architects. Right off the top of my head, Solder Miller.
Okay.
Uh,
I saw that one too.
yeah.
Underground Studios for the Guaymas River. And then I would say there's at least 5 for sure for different areas. That's utilities, the Guaymas River Park, and streets. And then, of course, you have your consultants for the attorneys, 2 city attorney, 2 contracts for 2 different attorneys also. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of them. they're required really, because we're not certified, that we don't have in-field certifications for that,
Right.
for
But
those.
there would be a way to streamline them, you know, like just to say we're going out to, I don't know what your scope of work would be on them, but I'm just saying, you know.
Jesus, do you have a report? And I was thinking about this earlier. Do you have a report that that you can give? If I asked for a contractor, see how much we spend on a contractor by month. Do you have that report?
Yes, we can generate an accounts payable report
Okay.
by vendor and by dates.
Yeah. Okay. So you see, maybe that's more towards where you're saying, you know, see how much we're paying each contractor per month. And of course, every month is going to be different because sometimes they don't utilize them and sometimes they do. Depends on emergencies or projects.
And the word emergency, Mr. Montoya, I don't, in my line of business here, I don't use it loosely,
Mm-hmm.
because the more you use it, the more you have to answer to
Mm-hmm.
in an audit. I know you're smirking a little bit, Mr. Jesus, but I have never had an emergency, and it, no, if you need propane because you know, whatever the case may be, I just feel like it needs just to get taken care of at that moment. So because your auditor frowns on it, makes it seem like you're not prepared to run the city then if you don't have these POs in place, correct? I mean, or me as our school district. So, you know, an emergency would be a case of a fire, a school burning down, and that would be my case of an emergency.
So, Ms. Dana, so are you to say that you never had a water leak on a roof or a gas line or a gas line busted?
I've got
or
appeal for
sewer
it.
line
I'm
broken
going to
up?
have appeal for it. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any paperwork for that to
Mhm.
state I had an emergency for a water leak. No.
Because sometimes with our situations, it might be a little bit different because our utilities, for instance, our water lines, our gas lines, you know, if they're after hours, they're an emergency.
Yeah.
And if we call out staff and they're working on it overtime 2-3 days and they need parts or they need a bigger equipment or something like that, that's an emergency can't be planned.
Right.
You know, situations like those. And I'll tell you that we do have a check and balance and situations with any emergency with our directors. They got to follow chain of command, and the city managers involved in that decision. And if they got to notify the mayor, I'm sure they'll notify the mayor about it. But yeah, if they're going to spend millions of dollars or anything like that in an emergency, I mean, there's protocol to that too. Yep. But we try to avoid that like you do,
Yeah.
you know, because then that's when the questions are being asked.
When you got a trash truck that breaks down at 4:30 in the morning, you're not gonna call DAG and tell him to go out there and not having money for him.
But you don't go out to bid with DAG to begin with and have them under contract already, and that way, if that does occur, you're prepared. You've got your PO in place already. I do see him in here.
Yeah,
That's a bad example because we do have a contract with the diesel
The
mechanic.
vendor. With the
Yeah,
vendor.
the vendor. We do have a contract with the vendor, and he does go out there, and that one doesn't come off really the emergency. It comes off his contract. But he will go pick up a trash truck if it breaks down between here and Wagon Mound or Springer or the landfill. But yeah, no, this emergencies are just for real emergencies. It's not
Right.
you ran out of ink and you need a pen.
I'm just trying to help. We have Highland Record, for example, our bus breaks down. We need him to go pick up our bus,
Mhm.
you know.
You have him on contract?
We have appeal for him. Because everything that we do in accounts payable is historic data. Well, whatever happened last year, more or less you're going to have the same. It's like developing your budget, correct? More or less, everything is just repetitious. Okay.
How much do you have him in your encumbrance for? You just have a pretty big
Uh,
budget to keep him in your encumbrance.
Francina, $200.
If it goes over, we'll sign it.
$200, and that can be revised, correct?
Yeah.
So, anyways, like I said, it's just all historic data. So July 1st, you just get with your accounts payable person, and she'll just run a report just saying these are all the vendors we used. These are all the possibilities that you may have. Might hire somebody in Villanueva to help with the snow removal. He owns a plow. There's a certain vendor out there, and so we might use him maybe $250 a year, but we don't forget him because we say, you know what if it snows out there and we do need the help? We do need his services for it. It doesn't mean that he's just going to throw us an invoice just because he has a PO. I know that you've got to be careful with that too. But
Well, if you have any concerns on any particular contract that we might have, or any vendor contract that you want more detailed information on it, let Jesus know, and we can obtain a copy of that and run a copy by the month. So you'll have more of a breakdown than just a total bill as to what we're paying off.
I have one last question, Mr. Montoya.
Yes.
On your Xerox leases,
Mm-hmm.
do you have just one contract with one company for all your leases of your copy machines?
No,
Are they all just separate? And
the majority is a Xerox contract, but the fire department and our municipal courts have a different vendor. I think it's Pacifica from Santa Fe, and everybody else, the rest of the city uses Xerox.
so do you just get bills sporadic? This contract is for, let's say you do a contract with them for 5 years, for example. So it's just for, let's say maybe it's just for City Hall, and then you have the senior citizens and they get another bill, and that one's for, you renew the contract at a different date. So you have all these
we have been trying to consolidate all our contracts, and we're getting to the point where we're getting billed for everybody. Each Xerox machine, you need a code to use it.
Right.
And then it'll spit out your usage report. Will spit out the departments that used it and how much, and it'll give you the dollar amount that goes with it. But we're getting to where we can just do one Xerox bill. I mean, one check for Xerox.
When one contract expires, maybe you can just be on a month-to-month with them until you can get it all inclusive.
Okay.
So you might have,
that's what we're doing, is trying to
50
get it.
machines, you get one invoice, and it's less paperwork for your accounts payable.
Yes, that's where we're headed.
All right. I have no further questions on the report.
Francine?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Mr. Vaqueros, do you have any last comments?
No, we're good.
Okay. How about you, Eleanor?
None.
Okay. Moving on, then our next meeting will be on April the 18th, 2022. And Mr. Vaqueros, I hope you had a happy Valentine's Day. We missed you.
I did. I went to Red Lobsters. So.
Just to bring you guys up to date, as you all know, we do have a runoff election coming up now on April the 8th, I think it is, or I don't know. I'm not sure on the date, April 7th, April 8th. But we do have a runoff election on one of our wards. Councilman David Ilivari and his opponent, Doris Gallegos, are on a runoff. And also, Miss Barbara Casey Perea. She won, and she'll be coming in on April 1st to represent that Ward 3, I think it is. And then the other thing is 17 of the 19 amendments passed. The only 2 that didn't pass was the salary increase for mayor and council and the redistricting. So those 2 are the only ones that didn't pass. So now we have our attorneys and our city clerk being tasked to upgrade the city charter, and that's going to be in force within 30 days after it has been approved by the county, and that would throw us to April. Is it April I guess April or May the 23rd, I guess, would be around that. I don't know, but it's 30 days after it's been ratified that everything goes into effect. And that was done last Tuesday. So 30 days after that, the new city charter will be in place. And mayor and council are at the same time working out the details as to how we're going to proceed with the new member, the 5th councilman at large, that will be either appointed or elected. We're trying to work with the state Secretary of State's office on that and our city attorney to come to that. That's all I got. Does anybody have anything else?
The runoff, did that pass, Mr. Matraya, too? I think there was something in there for the runoffs as well.
Yeah, the runoff passed, and this will be the last runoff we'll have. This will be the last runoff. From near on, whomever wins, wins. Now, of course, there's something on the Secretary of State's Red Book that allows you to challenge that if you're within a percentage of your opponents. But the other thing that changed was that we're no longer going to be having elections in March, but we're going to join the nonpartisan races in November. So that's going to change the dynamics of filling in this position or appointing this position, or it might even change the terms of the current councilman. I'm not sure. That's what we're all working on. Yeah. So no more. This will be the last time we pay $20,000 for any runoff election.
Yay!
Mhm.
I saw where you paid the first one in here. I saw it on the expenditure report. On the checklist.
So Mr. Vaquera is on here. You had approval of finance report and recommendations to council. Those have already been approved by motions.
Yes,
We can skip that.
yes.
Yes. So I call for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
I second it.
Nancy, thank you. And again, we're lacking 2 members for our finance committee. If anybody knows of anyone interested, please have them send a resume or a letter of intent to the mayor so that they can go before mayor and council and so that they can be confirmed. And so we can have 2 other members on here. With that, we're adjourned and we'll see you back in April the 18th. Thank you
Have a
very
happy
much.
Easter.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Thank you all for showing up.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.